Morning, everybody. It is Nisi D here. It is January the 21st, and this isn't really an update, but I do want to start by saying that I apologize. I had actually meant to do an update long before now on my tummy tuck and how that's going. I'm doing fine. I promise I will get a video up in the next couple of days in regards to that. But today, I woke up this morning, poured myself a cup of coffee, and logged on to YouTube and was wanted to start my day with a couple of videos and watched a video on a new channel that started up here in January called Greenlight Your Day with some amazing ladies, and realized I wanted to do a video response on today's subject. Sally is the vlogger today there, and I'm going to post the link below for that channel so that you guys can jump in there and see if it's something that you want to add to your life to enrich it. Maybe it's your cup of tea, maybe it's not. But anyways, I'll put the link below. But today she was talking about love and belonging. She and I and some others were very fortunate this fall to be able to participate in an online course. It was a self-study course led by a lady named Brene Brown, based on a book she had written called The Gifts of Imperfections. And one of the concepts she talks about is love and belonging, and how the two are tied together. They're knotted together. They are, I don't know, Siamese twins. Anyways, Sally's talking about that today and what that means. In the book, Brene talks about how love is not about, and I'm going to be looking down because I made some notes because I want to try and keep this brief. Love is not about giving and getting, but it's about nurturing and growing. And key to healthy loving is loving ourselves, nurturing and growing that love of ourselves, to internalize and believe fully that we are enough, that we are worthy of love. And that can only come from a place of love within ourselves. And before we can actually engage in fully healthy relationships with others, we have to have that healthy love of ourselves. And you know, I grew up a good deal of my life through high school and you know, in my 20s, feeling like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, feeling like I really didn't belong anywhere, and that I was always on the perimeter. And a lot of that came from, well, all of it came from, obviously, from not loving myself, from not feeling like I was worthy. And so I spent a lot of years trying to fit in, trying to be who I thought other people wanted me to be or needed me to be, rather than focusing on trying to be the best me and allowing life to take me where that would in that regard. Sally's video crystallized for me something that I knew, but she just verbalized it very well. And so I just felt impelled to make this video response. You know, growing up a lot of times, especially for me anyways, in those younger years, even though there were a lot of my friends who weren't dating, a lot of my friends were dating. And I wasn't, right? And I inside, because I didn't love myself, I generalized that, right? And it was in my head, I was saying, so why doesn't anybody love me? Why won't anybody, nobody loves me? And that sounds like, oh, poor me, like, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, going to, anyways, and I think quite often we fall into that trap of generalizing, especially if we're coming from a place of a lack of self-love. And it wasn't until later years, and especially after I had weight loss surgery, although I had come to that, what I'm going to talk about in a minute, realization earlier, it wasn't until I actually started doing more of the emotional and mental work with weight loss surgery and losing weight that I came to realize that I've always belonged. I was always loved. And And there was never anything wrong with me. And that came with nurturing that self-love. And when I let go of trying to be what I thought everybody else wanted me to be, what I thought everybody else needed me to be, and started working on just being me and loving me, my whole world exploded in a good way, in a good way. This last few years have been just amazing. And yes, I've gone through some difficult times, but I've also just had an amazing, 2013 blew me out of the water, and I'm just excited about 2014 because I am surrounded by people who love me and my imperfections just the way I am. Like, I don't have to be somebody else. I can be me. And I think that's really important for us to realize, that our only responsibility is nurturing that love of ourselves, and through that love of ourselves, nurturing loving relationships around us, and realizing too that there are different kinds of love, right? Like, not all of the loves in our lives are going to be the same. It doesn't negate the importance of them, but nurturing a healthy love with others doesn't mean that you're a yes man. It means being yourself, being authentic, being loved. And really and truly, if it's a healthy relationship and it's healthy love, they're going to love you even when you're bitchy and crabby, right? They may not like you sometimes, just like you may not always like the people in your life, but they're still going to love you. And it's finding those base relationships in your life who are going to support you, not only when you're up and smiling and happy, but also when you're crabby and bitchy and just miserable, right? And I guess that's just what I wanted to say, sometimes being in a loving relationship means setting boundaries too, right? So if these are people who truly love you, you can set those boundaries and they're still going to love you. They're going to support you in what you need to do in your life in this moment. And sometimes setting those boundaries and living that true authentic life might mean that those relationships change. There might be distance involved in those relationships, and that's okay too. That's all part of growing and loving. Doesn't negate the love that was there before. It just means that you're changing and growing, and the relationships in your life are going to do the same. But what that also means is that it's going to open the doors to new relationships, and hopefully nurturing healthier relationships. And it's those healthy, loving relationships where you're living your true self, you're living honestly and authentically, that is going to illuminate your life and enrich your world in a way that you never even dreamed was possible. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Don't know if it made sense. I'm going to jump off now. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that you're taking care of each other. Make a great day.